Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Wealth Tracker. Today is June 17, 2026, and the global financial order is being systematically rewritten in real time. Today marks the single most critical macroeconomic event of the year, Kevin Warsh's first interest rate decision and press conference as Federal Reserve Chair. While the market overwhelmingly expects a rate hold, the traditional dot plot guidance is the true battlefield. Insiders indicate Warsh is moving the central bank toward a regime of strategic ambiguity, effectively breaking the market's dependency on predictable forward pathing. Simultaneously, the Bank of Japan has shocked global desks overnight with a surprise 25 basis point rate hike to 1%, its highest level since the 1990s, sending the yen into a volatile tailspin. On the corporate front, the SpaceX valuation sprint has hit an astronomical $2.8 trillion following its shock acquisition of AI enterprise giant Cursor. Traditional defensive capital is being aggressively liquidated to chase these high-growth narrative winners. Let's decode exactly how this historic volatility impacts your personal ledger rails today. Welcome, Aries. The Bank of Japan's surprise tightening is sending immediate ripples through global capital curves, heavily activating your solar third house of transaction mechanics. While retail day traders are paralyzed ahead of the Fed announcement, institutional liquidity is fleeing secondary assets to fund enterprise-tier tech dominance. Your explicit financial ritual today is to execute a rapid capital rotation. Liquidate underperforming or slow-moving asset lines immediately and position your liquid reserves directly into dominant market leaders like the SpaceX Cursor ecosystem before regular trading hours close. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 12, 44, and 89. Aries, speed is your definitive alpha today, trust your execution. Welcome, Taurus. As the Fed transitions into a regime of strategic ambiguity, the macro environment is punishing speculative vulnerability. Fortunately, the current alignments heavily favor your fourth house of concrete assets and private foundations. The smart money isn't gambling on Warsh's words, they're securing hard value. Your explicit financial ritual today is to physically anchor your capital perimeter. Move vulnerable digital reserves out of standard counterparties and allocate directly into tangible, sovereign assets, such as premium real estate adjustments or physical precious metals vaults. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 03, 37, and 72. Taurus, build your wall high and let the digital market noise settle itself. Welcome, Gemini. With the sun illuminating your first house of identity, you are perfectly tuned to digest today's rapid-fire macro data stream. The massive $2.8 trillion SpaceX valuation update is a direct confirmation that the narrative economy is thoroughly dominating traditional value metrics. Your explicit financial ritual today is to restructure your primary enterprise offers. Do not negotiate with low-tier clients who require predictable forward guidance. Emulate the Fed's new stance. Establish an elite pricing matrix backed by strategic ambiguity and undisputed market authority. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 19, 51, and 86. Gemini, leverage your information velocity to outpace the herd. Welcome, Cancer. Today's global currency shifts are creating underlying tension in your solar sectors of private security. As institutional whales rebalance their portfolios to mitigate the Bank of Japan's rate shock, your ledger requires immediate insulation. Your explicit financial ritual today is to execute a strict liquidity audit. Ensure that a dedicated portion of your capital reserves is held in highly liquid, non-correlated defensive instruments. Prepare your cash positions so you are entirely equipped to exploit deep market mispricings post-FOMC. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 07, 33, and 92. Cancer, absolute preparation is what transforms volatility into your personal windfall. Welcome, Leo. With Venus amplifying your first house of public visibility, the massive corporate consolidation of SpaceX and Cursor lands squarely in your 10th house of professional legacy. The market is aggressively funding undisputed category leaders today. Your explicit financial ritual today is to align your professional brand with premium enterprise networks. Launch your highest-tier commercial consulting frameworks or pitch large-scale joint ventures to institutional decision-makers. Refuse to discount your rates during a market-wide flight to quality. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 15, 55, and 81. Leo, step into your sovereignty and command the absolute top of the market. Welcome, Virgo. While the retail crowd is trading on pure adrenaline ahead of Kevin Warsh's speech, your analytical sixth house demands cold, mathematical precision. The sudden rise in capital costs via the Bank of Japan radically alters global margin profiles. Your explicit financial ritual today is to stress test your active leverage nodes. Systematically review your corporate structures and eliminate any reliance on cheap, predictable credit rails. Tighten your operational overhead immediately to safeguard your baseline yields. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 04, 42, and 76. Virgo, your data-driven immunity is your greatest financial asset this week. Welcome, Libra. The Bank of Japan's aggressive rate hike introduces sudden friction to your solar 7th house of global partnerships and cross-border commerce rails. Currency fluctuations can rapidly erode unhedged international margins today. Your explicit financial ritual today is to lock down your international contract protections. If your business model utilizes foreign currency or overseas suppliers, deploy ironclad financial hedges immediately before the afternoon Fed press conference adds further turbulence. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 11, 48, and 94. Libra, strategic diversification is the foundation of your long-term independence. Welcome, Scorpio. Your solar 8th house of automated passive wealth architectures is highly sensitive to institutional whale movements today. Capital is rapidly exiting speculative, unbacked risk assets to seek shelter in dominant tech infrastructure. Your explicit financial ritual today is to purge speculative noise from your ledger. Completely liquidate any low-tier alternative digital holdings that rely on easy money narratives. Transfer those resources directly into automated, asset-backed arbitrage protocols that capture real-time market spreads. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 06, 31, and 88. Scorpio, watch the institutional flows from the shadows and secure your position. Welcome, Sagittarius. The Federal Reserve's sudden shift away from forward guidance directly challenges the expansion templates in your 9th house of global frameworks and speculative ventures. The old maps are officially obsolete today. Your explicit financial ritual today is to pause the deployment of unmapped capital. Do not initiate new, high-risk international ventures until the Fed's new policy parameters are fully digested by the bond market. Focus entirely on optimizing the efficiency of your current footprint. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 22, 50, and 79. Sagittarius, temporary restraint is a highly sophisticated form of market leverage. Welcome, Capricorn. The historic multi-trillion-dollar SpaceX expansion highlights your solar 8th house of corporate structures and institutional financing lines. The macroeconomic landscape is shifting permanently toward high-barrier enterprise dominance. Your explicit financial ritual today is to conduct a comprehensive capital expenditure review. If your business architecture is built on the assumption of perpetually low interest rates, you must adjust your model immediately. Focus your capital on building highly automated internal cash flow engines. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 02, 45, and 99. Capricorn, your discipline ensures your empire outlasts the chaos of any central bank. Welcome, Aquarius. Pluto navigating your first house of innovation positions you perfectly to capitalize on disruptive infrastructure shifts like the Cursor acquisition. While old guard tech sectors are bleeding liquidity, foundational tech is receiving massive funding. Your explicit financial ritual today is to identify and back essential technology layers. Look completely past the retail hype of the primary stock indices and locate the specific back-end infrastructure providers that the multi-trillion-dollar giants are forced to buy. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 10, 37, and 85. Aquarius, decode the underlying system grid to claim your true financial alpha. Welcome, Pisces. The synchronized volatility from the Bank of Japan and the Federal Reserve is generating an emotional market climate that directly targets your 12th house of hidden assets and psychological clarity. Your explicit financial ritual today is to drastically simplify your asset perimeter. Remove complex, hard-to-track trading instruments from your daily ledger. Keep your primary wealth reserves concentrated, unencumbered, and immediately accessible within your personal sovereign perimeter. Your unique wealth coordinates for today are 08, 41, and 73. Pisces, internal clarity is the ultimate armor against external market turbulence. The global matrix is shifting rapidly, but your strategy remains absolute. To ensure you never miss your daily financial coordinates and macro updates, tap that like button right now and subscribe to the Oracle of Wealth. Lock in your frequency, protect your perimeter, and I will see you on the next transmission.